Chiefs Kingdom, we've got breaking developments out of the Ravens game. A Kansas City player is now staring down NFL discipline, and the ripple effects could hit the locker room, the depth chart, and the AFC race. Welcome to Kansas City Chiefs Today. Daily news, rumors, and fan talk with that Red Friday energy, 7 days a week. Before we dive in, quick reminder, we're pushing hard toward 5,000 subscribers, and your tap on that sub button fuels this channel more than you know. Now, let's unpack what happened, what it means, and how Andy Reid and the crew can steer through the storm. Reports from the aftermath of the Ravens matchup indicate the league office is reviewing conduct from the game and weighing potential punishment. That review process is standard. The NFL's operations and discipline teams go through the film, the officials' notes, and post-game reports before making a call. Sometimes it's a fine. Sometimes it's a suspension. And sometimes it's a warning that lives in the player's file and changes how the next incident is judged. For Kansas City, the timing matters. We're early enough in the grind that a short-term absence, even one game, can swing seeding down the road. The Chiefs have been living on razor-thin margins in these heavyweight showdowns, and every snap matters. Remember how these things typically work. The league notifies the team, there's a window for response, and the decision gets announced, often right before or just after the midweek practice cycle. That uncertainty isn't just a headline. It changes how the coaches script reps. Let's talk pure football impact. If the punishment is a fine only, the on-field fallout is minimal. The message lands, the player pays, and we move. But if it's a suspension, even for a single game, Andy Reid and Dave Tubb and Steve Spagnuolo have to reshape personnel groupings on short notice. What does that mean practically? It reshuffles your snap counts, special teams assignments, and the chess match in sub-packages. Spags is aggressive by nature, and he builds his calls around trust. Trust that a specific player fits a specific lever in the machine. Yank one lever, and you don't just replace the name, you alter the timing of the whole mechanism. There's also the psychological piece. The Chiefs' culture is strong. That's not a slogan. That's a reality that's been forged through Super Bowls and tough losses. But players are human. Distraction is real. Even if the locker room handles its business, your captains spend more time putting out small fires instead of polishing the game plan. Game scripts could change too. If the player in question affects pass rush or coverage, you might see Spags lean heavier into simulated pressures or zone match looks to protect a spot. If it's an offensive contributor, Nagy and Reid might accelerate the quick game, lean on motion at the snap, and use formations to create free access throws for Mahomes so the ball is out lightning fast. Special teams is the hidden tax. Dave Tubb cross-trains guys for this exact reason, but losing a core team player forces dominoes. A backup safety playing punt coverage becomes your emergency gunner, and that backup wideout takes a kick return rep he hasn't taken under live bullets in weeks. That's where field position swings a drive, and a drive swings a game. From the front office lens, you also consider roster mechanics. Do you elevate a practice squad player? Do you protect a guy for a second week? Do you put a veteran on a pitch count to keep his legs fresh if he's suddenly on 3 phases? These are the unsexy decisions that win Sundays in late November and December. So, how do the Chiefs navigate if the league drops a suspension? Start with identity. Kansas City's formula this year is defense-first leverage, Mahomes' surgical improvisation, and complementary football that squeezes possessions. On offense, tilt into personnel groupings that maximize spacing and yak. Condensed splits with burst motion can stress a defense's leverage, and it gives Mahomes the clean 1-2 reads that keep the train on schedule. Expect more fast 4 options, jet look to screen counters, and that little pivot route the backs have run to perfection when defenses widen to the sideline. If this affects the trenches or edge rotation, Spags has answers. He'll dial simulated pressure from the second level, mug the A-gaps to muddy protection IDs, and bluff creepers to bait a protection slide before dropping into a robber look. It's not about sending the house. It's about threatening 5, sending 4, and winning with timing and disguise. Tackling fundamentals become the hidden key. Against power run outfits or option-heavy looks, the crisis isn't the first missed tackle, it's the second one that turns 8 yards into 28. You'll hear coaches harp on pursuit angles, leverage, and vice tackles at practice. That's how you survive personnel turbulence. Clock management is also a weapon. If the depth gets stressed, script longer drives early to keep your defense fresh. Use the huddle, shift and motion late, and force the opponent to align 3 times before the snap. It's legal fatigue, you're playing the math of stamina. Finally, remember the Mahomes effect. When there's noise on the outside, he steadies the room. Expect him to lean into tempo change drives, one quick strike series to jolt momentum, then a grinded-out march that punishes light boxes. It's leadership by rhythm. Let's talk about the conversation around the league. National media will spin this as, can the Chiefs handle adversity? Which is funny because Kansas City's entire championship arc is built on weathering chaos. We've seen the drops discourse. We've seen that they're not the same takes. And then we watch January roll in, and the Chiefs are right there again. For the fan base, the reaction splits into 2 camps. One camp wants accountability, own the mistake, take the medicine, fix it. The other camp is all about competitive fire, play hard, stand up for teammates, and don't let opponents push you around. Both can be true. You can be a tone setter and still be smart within the lines. What matters is consistency. If the league is reviewing this, they should apply the same lens they used for similar incidents around the NFL this season. Fans aren't asking for special treatment, they're asking for the standard to be the standard. In the meantime, keep perspective. This team's leaders, Mahomes, Kelsey, and the captains across the units, are wired for moments just like this. Culture doesn't guarantee wins, but it does guarantee that the floor won't collapse when the headlines get loud. AFC playoff picture / rivalry stakes, 8:30 to 9:30, now zoom out to the AFC picture. These tiebreakers can get weird fast. Conference record, common opponents, strength of victory, it all stacks up. If the Chiefs drop a game in a short-handed week, the math changes in December, and seeding matters when you're trying to secure Arrowhead in January. Rivalries layer on top of that. The Ravens, the Bengals, the Bills, the Dolphins, every top-tier AFC team is hunting the same inch of real estate. One suspension doesn't define a season, but it can tilt a Sunday, and one tilted Sunday can swing home field. That's why the response right now is so important. The good news, the Chiefs have banked wins in tough spots before and will again. This staff knows how to plug gaps, play situational ball, and squeeze a 17-13 win out of a rock fight when the script isn't perfect. Here's where we land today. The NFL's process will play out, review, adjudicate, announce. When it drops, we'll adapt. That's who the Chiefs are. That's what this era has taught us. If it's a fine, you take the lesson and move. If it's a suspension, you rewire a week's worth of plans with urgency and precision. Either way, Kansas City's path stays the same. Stack wins, protect the football, win situational downs, and keep the defense dictating terms. And for the player at the center of this, accountability and growth can live alongside competitive edge. Own it, be smarter, and channel that fire the right way the next snap. That's how you keep the standard in Kansas City. That'll do it for today's update on Kansas City Chiefs Today. If you're new, stick around. We're live every day with the latest news, rumors, breakdowns, and fan-driven coverage that treats Chiefs Kingdom like the powerhouse it is. Drop your takes in the comments and join the road to 5,000 subs here on Kansas City Chiefs Today.